Welcome to another episode of Movie Pass Holes. I'm Saman.
I'm Romo.
And this week we saw A Quiet Place. So yeah.
The movie's not this funny.
No, the movie's not funny at all. It's just very quiet.
We're recording this in a much quieter place
Yes.
as well.
It's topical. So, A Quiet Place, directed, starred in by, produced by,
Was he writing?
and he wrote the screenplay.
Oh.
I actually know a little bit of background information about this.
By who? You should probably say his name.
I didn't write the other people. Oh, John Krasinski. Yeah, Jim from The Office.
Jim Halpert.
Yes. So there are two other writers who wrote the story about, because they grew up in a rural place, and they actually wrote it as a spec script for a Cloverfield movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I can
and
see
so
how-
they were shopping it.
I could see how it would
See,
work. Yeah.
And then Paramount showed it to Jim, and
He was like, nope, mine.
yeah, and Jim was like, I like this about me, though. Because he was like, oh, yeah, my wife just had a baby, and babies are loud. I relate to this. I love them kids. We make this movie. So Paramount let Jim rewrite the script
cool.
and direct it. And then after that, his wife was like, put me in it.
Yeah.
So this movie stars Jim from The Office, Mary Poppins from Girl on the Train, a wonderful young actress named Millicent Simmons.
Yeah, she was great.
A deaf actress.
Actually, both the kids were really great.
Yeah, they
even
were.
the young boy.
Yeah.
Not the other
Spoiler.
one. Yeah. But so synopsis.
Yeah, I have prepared a statement.
Okay. Can you please enter it into?
Exhibit A. The year is 2020. Jim from The Office and Mary Poppins from The Girl on the Train, I wrote this all down, live in a recently apocalypticized America, wrought with no-eyed, multi-fanged running alien people eaters who track their prey through sound. There are a handful of people left in their rural town, but all the survivors keep to themselves because being completely silent is super necessary to if you don't want to immediately be gobbled up by alien monsters.
Like immediately.
Yeah, like immediately. So Jim and Mary Poppins, they have 3 kids. The oldest is deaf. And the film explores their day-to-day survival, with family just trying to get by in an empty world that requires them to never make a sound.
Oh, that was a very good synopsis.
Why, thank you.
Sounds like you put some time and effort into
I
it.
did. I have 4 pages of notes.
But yeah, so initial thoughts and feelings?
I loved this movie.
Me too.
A lot.
I
Yeah.
liked it. It's a very short film.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and it's actually a full hour 30.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it felt like an hour 10, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I really liked.
Jim is a profoundly competent director.
Yeah.
That's only his second thing he's ever directed ever.
He's directed something else.
Some other thing.
Some other smaller
that he
indie
was
film.
also in.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
it wasn't like a dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was really good. He did a good job directing it. He did
Absolutely.
if he wrote the screenplay, which I didn't realize. That's great.
Yeah.
I love their use of sound and deafness
Absolutely.
and how all those characters interacted. It was really good.
Lots of directorial nuance. Very good.
And not too it's a horror film.
Yeah.
Suspense horror film.
Yeah.
But not too many crazy jump scary type things.
Yeah. Great use of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie made use of both diegetic and non-diegetic sound, and so some parts were entirely diegetic, where it's just people stepping on the little sand and stuff like that, and then sometimes there was a score and a height.
Sometimes there was a score, not all the time, but it was good because it was used when appropriate,
Exactly.
and you didn't really notice it until it was
exactly.
oh, this is a thing.
And the score made you feel comfortable. It still feels like a
it still felt like part of the movie. It
Yeah.
still felt within the world.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I really liked the use of whenever they went to Millie.
Yeah.
And like whenever it was from directly her point of view, it was
The sound cut out. Yes,
completely. It
exactly,
was really cool.
because she's deaf.
Because she's
She can't
deaf.
hear, and
her cochlear implant
yeah,
was,
it doesn't
didn't
work.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that, and I really loved all that stuff.
Likewise.
So like I thought it was a really beautifully shot movie
Me too.
Like just. And sometimes they'd use really interesting angles of shooting. Like it wasn't just like a.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, I know it's not his first time, but it's like his first big movie. It didn't feel like a first time director out movie. It felt like someone who had like a
very
solid,
competent,
very solid grasp
very
on
complete.
it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, like, a lot.
I loved
like,
the storytelling. I thought it started, and I loved that it didn't start at the beginning of the apocalypse.
Yeah,
and it started like after it's already wiped people out.
Yeah,
and
it started with
80 days in, 89 days in.
Yeah, and they did a little, and like it was just like little things because you don't really need to know the whole.
No, and like the
story of like what happened. You
the
just
setting
know
of the town that you see them going through helps you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really love that. So I guess that's
End of the non-spoilers. And I stress enough, I really liked this movie, and I don't think you should listen to this.
Go
without
see,
seeing the movie.
Go see the movie. Like
You won't like it being spoiled for you.
Yeah.
And you should not
you
listen. You should turn this off.
Turn this off right now and go see
it.
movie.
Yeah. Give Jim your dollars. He deserves them.
Give Jim and his wife your dollars.
Yes.
It's a family affair.
It's family. You give Jim the dollars, it's his wife dollars.
It's all
even.
It all evens out.
All right, so spoilers now.
Spoiler time.
You had plenty of time to turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Watch the movie. Okay.
Yeah, go.
All right.
Great.
So.
Yeah, so it opens on the family
Yes.
in the town section of their
Yeah.
rural
On
town.
their,
Like they're
going to get supplies.
going to get supplies. Like the mom's getting specifically medicine. It looks like
For
she was
one of the
looking for
kids, yeah.
who's sick, and you see him curled up on the
We
ground.
don't really ever come back to him being sick.
No, I think it was just like he was just sick for
was
that.
sick at the
It's
time.
not like it didn't seem like a chronic illness type deal.
The medicine she was getting for him was prescription medicine.
True, but it could just be like antibiotics. You know
That's
what I
fair.
mean? You know,
That's
like
fair.
like really hardcore antibiotics because he looked like he had like a solid fever and like he was shaking.
That's
and
true.
stuff.
He was. He was very weak and
Yeah,
frail.
so
Yeah.
it's probably just like heavy duty antibiotics
Yeah.
and like, cool, we got it now. Let's.
So on
Let's
the
go.
way there, they were walking, and I remember being like, because they were walking on sand,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, well, this is a poor shot because why would they be the only footprints in the sand? Then we find out later that Jim lays the sand out for them right before they go out,
Yep.
which I like that they didn't just show you.
Yep. Yeah, they kind of reveal.
Yeah.
They reveal
well,
bits and pieces
after they
of the
jump
world.
a year into the
Yeah,
future,
about a
they
year.
show that he makes sand trails before
Yeah.
they walk out, so they can dampen their.
Yeah, so they can dampen all their footsteps and do
Yeah.
all sorts of crazy, not crazy stuff, but just like be
Yeah,
able to move
to survive.
silently through the woods
Yeah.
too, specifically
Yeah.
because of twigs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so there's these like alien things.
Yeah.
Well, first when they get to the town, you see like missing posters.
Yeah.
Which let you know that the kind of alien invasion didn't happen all at once. It was
Right.
like a slow trickle in. But then there are like abandoned cars and stuff. But the store hasn't been completely looted.
No, so-
which makes it seem like it was a trickle. Then all of a sudden,
Then suddenly, so my guess is like it was a trickle, a bunch of people, maybe it happening a lot in that area, and
Yeah.
then everyone was like, all right, we're just gonna leave this town. Now.
Yeah.
We're just
Oh,
out.
yeah,
You know what I
people
mean?
abandoned the
Just
town.
abandon the town, like
because there are also
bye.
no dead bodies
Right?
anywhere.
Yeah.
At the same time, I thought it was really interesting that we're focusing in on this one family who would be the ideal family to survive in a situation like
Right.
this. They live in a rural area with not a lot of other people around. They're like people of the land who can survive. They're farmers. They can make their own food. They're secluded. They already speak sign language, so
Right.
they can communicate
Right.
pretty immediately without
And
having
that's probably
to make a
is
sound.
why they've lasted so long.
Exactly.
Partially because of definitely the sign language
Yeah.
portion where they could be like, we're done, no
Yeah.
talking anymore. We can sign
Because
to
when
each
we
other.
go and we see like Jim's area where he's trying to learn more about the monsters. He's posted newspaper things that are like, they can hear you, they know sound, and it says like international death tolls. And,
so like it's not just this one town.
It's a whole world thing.
Yeah.
And one newspaper heading that I really took note of said, "It's sound, stay silent to stay alive."
Oh.
So I wrote that down.
But yeah, like I really liked the opening. Like, so they're there with their kids and stuff like that in the thing, and the kid really wants to grab. So they have their youngest.
Their youngest kid is like, I imagine we're gonna get in a rocket ship to get us out of here. And he finds like a
little
rocket
toy rocket on the shelf.
Yeah, but it makes noise.
But it makes noise.
Yeah.
It doesn't right then. But they see
it's an electronic toy. We can't have toys.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't. You see later that all they have is like little soft, very
like
soft toys. Even when they're playing,
to play with.
When they're playing Monopoly, it's not the metal pieces. It's like soft, like pill box, like little pill balls.
And Jim's like, stop playing with that loud thing.
Right.
So he takes it and he takes the batteries out. He's like, sorry, kid, we gotta be quiet.
You gotta be quiet. You gotta
shut the fuck up. So the family leaves the store, but the oldest sister is like, big sister, I'm cool.
Right.
Here, take the toy. It reminds us of our hope of escaping, so take it.
She's trying to do nice. She's trying to like.
She's a big sister.
Yeah.
Taking care of her little sad little brother.
Right.
So they're all walking back home, and they're crossing this bridge, and the son, not only does he take the rocket toy, but he takes the batteries.
Because if he just took the toy, it probably would have been like.
It would have been like.
That's
a hard
noisy.
plastic thing. You can't really have it.
It's noisy, but not like. And then he puts the batteries in and turns it on.
And he's just like making all kinds of sound. And all the family is walking ahead. But a very important part is that the older sister is the closest to him.
But
she's deaf, so she can't hear that he's making sounds. So the whole family turns around.
And she's confused a little bit.
And she's like smiling because she's like, oh, I'm with my family, blah, 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 I love my family. And
then you see like,
then Jim like throws all his stuff down because he's bolting back to grab the kid because he's making sound. And in that time, the girl turns around just in time to see her brother get scooped up by a monster and eaten.
A crazy ass monster.
By a giant. This is the first time we see the monsters.
Yeah.
The first time we understand why they're being quiet.
Right. So this is the one thing I wish they didn't do. I wish they didn't show the monster.
You wish you hadn't seen it immediately?
This early.
I don't mind it because it wasn't like a zoom in on the monster's face listening.
True, it was a flash.
It was a quick shot.
Show how speedy they are.
This is a giant horrible thing
Yeah.
that scoops up kids and eats them.
I guess. I still I wish they played more with that old school monster movie thing where it's like you don't really see the full thing until later because then they go back and show only like its claw at one point when it kills a raccoon later, and so it's like you can't go backwards from seeing
I liked it though because the tension wasn't built off of what does the monster look like, who is the monster, how are they going to get us.
It wasn't like Signs where it's like
it was more of we know there is a threat, how do we survive it? Yeah, because later they create their own jacked up stakes by having a baby.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I was more in the mindset of like old school horror, and I was like,
that's fair.
Because that moment scene was so CG because it was in bright day, and like I was just like, it just didn't quite hit me as much as I wish it did.
Really?
Like
I was like,
I mean, it was like it was there, and it was so fast that it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like I think they could have done that more, hiding the monster a little bit.
That's fair. I liked it because it showed how gruesome it was. Their youngest child got eaten by a monster.
That's true. That is true.
Not just got scooped up, now he's gone. He got eaten by a monster 4 minutes into the movie.
That's true. That is true. That it showed you that these monsters are ruthless.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
And the whole family just watched their youngest child get eaten by a monster.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So then we jump about a year into the future, and we see the ways that they're surviving, the way that they've kept themselves silent. They've set up like a light system so they can communicate without phones. They, for some reason, still have electricity.
That is the biggest plot hole to me.
See, I feel like they were trying to rectify it trying to like retcon it with all the solar flares by being like, look, the sun exists. Maybe it's the sun. Solar
But I didn't
panels.
see any
Maybe the
solar
sun.
panels
Of
anywhere.
course you didn't, but you did get a lot of sun in your face.
I guess. It's just, that was the one thing as I've been thinking about it. It was just like, where is, because like if it was a generator.
They can't have a generator.
Because it's
too
noisy
loud.
as fuck.
It's way too loud.
So like, it has to be solar panels that they have somewhere. It's
It would
just
have
off,
to be.
off-site
Yeah.
somewhere. Which is fine. That would make sense. And I just kind of wish like it like scanned over some solar panels, but I guess that's not the point of the movie, so it's fine. Like I'm an electrician, so
And
they
were using
me.
a lot of electricity.
Right.
He had a great deal of security monitors.
He had security monitors.
They were on all the time.
He had He had a wideband ham radios, like a bunch of short band frequency, like all the crazy gear that he could scavenge and find. Like I'm sure this took him like the year because it sounds like he's been like slowly finding pieces and making things.
Yeah.
Because they do say in this this first 10-minute section, not the first, but like after the year, they go oh, is that a new thing? Yeah, we can make
And
this.
he's also been using like old car parts to make his daughter new hearing aids that don't work because he doesn't know how to make hearing aids, but he's trying.
So it's really cool because they are skilled in some ways, but they have a bunch of books that they've taken to like get their skills better.
And Jim's just like zeroed in, focused on his family survival, and his wife's kind of more like, oh, this is life now. We gotta.
But she's been reading a bunch of. You do see the books on like childbirth and child.
No, that's what I mean. She's trying to make a better, like
life.
a good life for her kids, and Jim's just trying to make sure none of them get eaten.
Right. Yeah. She's definitely more. It definitely does kind of fall into like protection and nurture roles, like.
And you can tell, and it really comes out in the way that both of them sign. Well, the way that everybody signs. Jim signs not complete like emotional thoughts. He signs sharp, short signs of like directions and things like that. And the wife has more. She also vocalizes while she signs. She kind of talks underneath her voice in complete sentences while she signs. The daughter signs like a sassy teenager.
True.
Yeah.
So you see like after the year passes, you start seeing their daily life and like how they're surviving, and they're surviving pretty well. It seems like. Yeah. Like they're managing to live not a normal life, but a normal-ish life, I guess. Like, and you see, and it's kind of nice to see that, like just them go through the motions, and it goes through basically one whole day of like what their normal routine is, and you see, Jim go out and comes back and he's fixing things. Jim, I don't know what his actual name was in the movie. Did they have names?
Yeah, they did have names. I didn't write them down. Lee. His name was Lee.
Lee. Okay.
Lee Abbott.
Okay. But and at the end of this like little section, you see her washing stuff, and like you see that they don't really go into the house, the main house. They all live in the barn now. That was the big.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they live in the barn.
No, they don't. I've seen it twice now.
I thought they lived in the barn mostly.
No, and she goes inside all the time, and all that stuff, all the washing and stuff takes place in the basement.
Yeah. I thought they.
The little girl's room is in the barn.
Oh, maybe they just don't go upstairs.
The mother goes upstairs multiple times to be sad in the room of the dead kid.
All right. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah. But we see them because there's also a newspaper clipping that's like go underground, so you can be quieter. Right. So we see them down underneath the barn making putting newspappers up and dampening sound and making a
little nursery
room for them.
So you also find out that the wife is pregnant again.
Yeah.
And much so. So it looks like they got right on doing.
No, there are two jumps. There's a half a year jump and there's a full year jump.
There multiple jumps?
Yes.
Shit, I missed stuff.
I saw it twice. There's a half a year jump right after the kid gets eaten, where we show their like day-to-day bits, and then there's a full year jump where there's a slightly longer jump where now she's mega pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Before, just at the end of the first jump, you see her like touching her stomach.
That's
she's
right.
like, oh,
that's right.
I
remember this now.
Yeah.
I think I just completely forgot that there was the two jumps.
Yeah.
Because he could have just had one, and it would have been.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
So at the end of this like day-to-day life thing, you see Jim making the sand actually, or at least the ashes. So he's burning stuff, and it's also a lights fire to everyone else
at
in the
end
area
of,
to be...
Yeah, at the end of every night, the survivors light a bonfire,
basically being like,
to let everybody know
hey,
they're
we're
alive.
still alive.
And there's a sign, he's like, there are 3 people in my immediate area who are alive, but that day he lights a fire and only 2 lights go on. So he's like, oh, someone's dead.
Someone's
dead.
But yeah, like, it's good. And it's just, you just kind of see the monotony of like their daily life and their daily routine. And it is kind of like it's just them surviving.
And then it jumps to, so then there's a day. So everyone's going through the struggles of not really being able to communicate with each other. Not that they don't have communication because they speak through sign language, but it's more of a metaphorical communication.
The general thing of families not being able to like talk to each other or just wanting to hide things to protect each other, kind of.
Yeah. The daughter feels a lot of shame because she feels like it's her fault that her brother died. The mother feels shame because she feels like she should have been carrying the brother at the time because he was the smallest.
Right.
She's like, it's our job. What is
the point of us
There's
continuing?
No point to life right now except protecting each other.
Right. And specifically protecting our kids and like the next generation.
Yeah.
If they wanna...
Who are we if we can't protect our own children? So she says. And so everyone's going through that. Then Jim is like, is kind of getting inside of himself because he feels like my only job is to protect my family in this super dangerous world. My wife's about to have a baby, which is super loud. We can't kill a baby. That would be sad.
That would be the worst.
We already lost a kid. We made a new replacement kid. We have to keep this one alive.
We have to.
So they like make a box that they put the baby in with like oxygen mask so they can close the box. I was like, that's smart.
That is really smart.
Yeah. So one day, Jim's like, all right, your mom's going to have a baby any second now, so I have to teach you children how to take care of everybody.
Right, how you can help take care of this place.
So he teaches the middle son to fish.
Right.
And the daughter's like, I want to learn to fish. I'm the oldest. I should be able to, like, I'm not afraid.
Right.
And
because this middle son is clearly terrified of leaving.
Super hypochondriac, afraid of everything, scared all the time.
Super afraid of like leaving his little barn.
He saw his brother get eaten by a monster.
No. It's completely understandable.
So Jim takes him to a river, and because of the sound of the river, you can make other sounds.
Heavy rushing water, and so you can talk. You can talk.
So they go behind a waterfall and have like a conversation.
And scream.
Yeah. They let out their primal screams.
Right, it's a very cathartic moment for, I'm sure, this kid who's been whispering almost his whole life now at this point, or at least a year and a half, which is a long time.
Yeah. And then the kid uses that moment to tell Jim, hey, you should tell my sister that you love her.
Yeah.
Because she's really sad about how our brother died in front of us. Right. She thinks you don't like her.
Yeah, she thinks you don't love her because she killed our brother.
Yeah, and Jim's like, what? Okay, I guess.
I should probably stop being so cold and distant.
He's like, I'll think about it. So because the daughter didn't get to go on the fishing trip, she like runs away for a second.
Yeah, she was supposed to like help her mom do laundry and learn like
that side of it. She's being a sassy teenager, so she runs away.
So she goes to her brother's.
Yeah, she packs up a backpack and goes to her brother's grave to go be sad there. While her mom is heavily pregnant at the house, stepping on exposed nails and getting tetanus and bleeding profusely and then having contractions. So Emily Blunt is just being amazing at going through things that she has to be silent about that otherwise would make you scream.
Her shit was that whole secret.
So good.
So she goes and lies by the grave, and so night starts.
The sister.
The sister does, and so Jim and his son have a heart-to-heart at the river, but then Emily Blunt is there in the house doing laundry and steps on a nail in the basement. Yeah. And falls down making a shit ton of noise.
Yeah.
And these creatures hear it.
Yeah. But during the same time, she's going into labor.
Yeah.
So she has to hide, and then she switches. They have like a light thing where she switches the lights to red, so they know that like something bad is happening back to the house.
This whole sequence is ridiculous.
So Jim comes home, and Jim tells the son to go make a distraction sound.
Right.
So they have like this whole complex plan of all the things they would do.
Right.
In certain situations.
If these guys can enter the compound, then this is what we do.
Yeah. If the red lights are on, this is what you do.
Yeah.
So the son goes and lights some fireworks. The daughter sees the red lights and goes to like the silo, which is where they're supposed to meet.
Right.
If there's ever a problem, and when she's heading towards the silo, when she sees the monsters, and the monsters are going after her brother, who is panicking in the cornfield and totally about to get eaten, but her hearing aid.
Her new hearing aid.
So her dad made her hearing aid like a scene ago.
But it doesn't. But it still doesn't work technically.
Well, she kind of resents it because she feels like if she had hearing, she could have saved her brother.
Right.
And so this, everything her dad does doesn't make her hear, and it doesn't bring her brother back.
Right.
So she's really aggressive and angry about it, and it's a wonder that she's even wearing it at all.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, and that it's on.
Right.
Because she's already established that it doesn't work, and it was really upsetting.
Right.
So when the monster gets near her, the monsters use echolocation to find people to see.
A very high frequency echolocation, and like it's reverberating off.
Yeah, off of her implant, and then it freaks the monsters out, and the monster runs away.
Yeah.
So she and her brother go to the silo to wait for their dad, and the son is like, "Dad will come save us," and she's like, "Dad will save you. Dad doesn't love me. Dad loves you." And then they fall into a silo and almost die.
Yeah, they go into their Scrooge McDuck corn silo.
Yeah, which you should never do. People, as soon as they fell into the silo, I'm like, "You guys are dead." Farmers die like that every day.
Yeah, because you can't. It's not going to hold you. It's not going to hold your body weight.
Yeah.
And like she was struggling too. If anything, you want to like disperse.
You just like spread out.
You want to lay back so that way you spread your surface. The swamp.
The swamp of despair. Yeah. The more you wiggle, the more sad you are. The more it sucks you down. Meanwhile, Mary Poppins has had a whole baby in complete silence. You think the monsters are going to eat her? Nope. Instead, she's hiding, and she has given birth. Completely silent.
Every time they're like right around the corner, and she's just like, nope.
She's in a bathtub, bleeding profusely, holding onto her mouth because she's having contractions.
And she gives birth to a goddamn baby.
And she gives birth to a whole baby. During like the 45 seconds that the like fireworks are going on.
Yeah. It's.
Because as soon as she hears the fireworks, she screams.
Because that's when she's like, she's been holding it in. Yeah. She could just be like, all right, here's the point.
Yeah, and then she just
shove it
shoots out a baby.
I mean, it is her fourth.
It's her fourth baby. I mean, I don't know how it works, but it took like 2 seconds.
I hear it gets easier.
And the baby was quiet.
At least for that first moment.
Surprisingly quiet baby.
Oh, yeah. Because then she hides it in the shower
just like
stall.
in general, it was a surprisingly quiet baby.
Yeah, he wasn't really loud until later.
He was never loud. I mean, he like made a couple cuckoo sounds. He cried half a time once.
Yeah, and then they put the gas mask on him.
Supremely quiet baby. So Jim comes back. He's like, "Oh man, we got a baby.
We
have to go to the baby place
we gotta go to our baby basement
underground." Yeah. So they go to the baby basement, being chased by monsters, and they realize, "Oh look, the baby basement works.
Right.
We can hide down here. You hide down here. I'm gonna go find our other kids."
Right. Yeah. You hide. You down here. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when they have their moment of communication because they can talk under there.
Right.
Yeah. So then when they're not under the watchful eye of the sound monsters, they express themselves about all the insecurities they have about having new kids and babies and blah, 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 blah. So then Jim goes to find his kids. They're like dying in a silo. The implant ear thing happens again. Yeah. The monster jumps through the side of the silo. Right, because it jumps
into the silo. So they manage to rescue themselves because the door falls in from the silo, right? And so it's like they have their Jack and Rose moment, as I love this very Titanic. And it's like one of them is drowning and they get on the board, but this time there was enough room.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. They weren't on it. They were just
like
holding
spread.
on to it. And then they just jump out of the hole in the
Yeah.
silo, and Jim's like, my kids. It's like, Dad.
Yeah.
Then they go back home, but there are monsters everywhere trying to eat them. So Jim's like, kids, go get in that truck over there and hide.
Yeah.
And then the monster tries to get Jim, and it hurts him, and the son's like, no, because everything is the son's fault.
The son
son's
finally
super
yells.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
The son draws the attention to themselves.
So Jim fires off.
Well, no, so Jim's like, I love you.
And then he
signs to his kids,
And then he
I
yells.
love you. And then he lets the monster devour
him.
and it's very sad.
Meanwhile, at the baby cave, Emily Blunt almost drowns because a monster.
The monster destroyed the barn.
Destroyed a water tank, I assume, nearby. Which
it
makes sense.
destroyed the whole barn.
Yeah, it destroyed the whole barn.
Yeah, so now it's flooding.
And she doesn't almost drown, but she's in there.
Well, she has to hide. There's a callback to the waterfall and the water sound.
Yeah.
And she has to hide behind some falling water with the baby who's like softly crying.
It was like,
because it's the quietest baby in the world. And
it's like it knew.
yeah. Sound monsters are gonna eat me.
So she manages to make it back into the basement of the house part.
Yeah.
So she escapes.
With the baby and her kids.
Right, with the baby and her kids, and they make it into the basement.
Yeah. And they all know Dad's dead. It's sad.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that the teenage daughter is allowed in the basement.
Right.
Because Jim doesn't let her go down there because she can't hear her, and some of the steps are mega creepy.
Right.
And so this is her first time.
Also has a nail in it now.
Yeah, this is her first time down there, so it's her first time seeing that her dad's been working on all kinds of implants, and that's like one of the main things he does down there.
He goes like
he works.
He sees if there's contact with anyone else because he has a whole list of like countries that he's been crossing off, like to see if he can talk to anyone.
The important part is that he spends a lot of time down there working on trying to get her to be able to hear, which is something she doesn't know because she doesn't think he loves her.
Right.
And so that causes her to turn her implant back on. And that's when she realizes that the interference between her implant and the monster is what incapacitates them. So we've got these metaphor monsters that represent like parenting and communication, and they think that silence will save them.
Right.
But silence is merely a band-aid that helps them to hide from their problems. The real path to overpowering the aliens is communication and working together to bring down the beast with a beautifully dissonant cacophony of self-expression, love, and teamwork. That's what I got.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I liked that.
Don't let the beast silence you.
Aw,
Don't be afraid to make a noise. You've got your family by your side to blast those beasties away.
Communication is the key.
Yes. So then she realizes we know what stops the monster.
Yeah.
It's this sound, this piercing sound. Emily Blunt has a shotgun. She shot one of them.
Yeah.
And they all know that once you shoot something, that's they're all coming.
Right, because that's
the
the
last
super
resort.
loudest noise that you could fucking do.
Yeah, that's the last resort you could ever do is shoot it if it's about to eat you.
Right,
because it's totally about to eat the son who's holding the baby.
Right.
Yeah.
So she shoots it, and then you do see a bunch of start to rush towards them.
Yeah, but before that, the daughter jacks up her hearing aid.
Oh, right, and puts it into the...
Yeah, puts it into the speaker, and her mom's like, whoa, you're right. We did it. And then they turn around, they look at all the monitors, and it shows like dozens of creatures running. And then she looks at her daughter, she's like, you got it? And she's like, I got it. You got it? She's like, I got it. She cocks the shotgun, she turns up the speaker to 11, and it goes, quiet please.
Yes, it was great. It was just such a good ending, too, because it's like, we're communicating now.
Yeah, we're communicating.
As a family. We know how we can get rid of these guys, and we're going to work together rather than trying to protect, we
need each other in order to...
Instead of, overwhelmingly being super protective.
Our demons.
Yeah. Because the whole thing was, oh shit, we have to protect you and hold you.
We can't coddle ourselves and protect ourselves in a world of silence.
Right. So.
Yeah,
and I really liked how it ended on
it was super badass.
I was like, oh, cool. sequel's now an action movie.
Well,
a
it
very
won't be a
noisy
sequel.
I
It'll be
know.
like a couple of next like 30 seconds.
A very noisy place.
The noisiest place.
Just gunshots everywhere. Just high-pitched frequencies for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So high-pitched frequencies, get rid of them, just like in When Mars Attacks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just like the gentleman and Buffy make the loudest sounds, makes their faces explode.
But yeah, it's a good.
Yeah.
I really didn't like this movie.
I did too.
It was paced really well. It was like solidly. Nothing felt extraneous. Nothing felt like.
Nothing.
It was really well done.
Agreed.
Props to Jim Halpert.
Great movie, Jim. Great movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How many?
So I would say you should absolutely see
Oh,
it,
yeah,
but
fucking go
obviously
see it.
we said you had to see it in order to
Yeah.
listen to this, so
Please.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you listened to this after you saw it. Yeah. How many buttholes would you give it, Sam?
I give it 2 tight buttholes.
Yeah, I give it 2 tight buttholes.
Yeah.
It was fucking really
2
great.
nice, tight, sturdy
tight.
buttholes.
Kind of like
Nice.
not loose ones, like what looked like in the Aliens, because they looked like they had buttholes in their ears.
Oh yeah, they had like hearing buttholes.
Buttholes, yeah.
Echolocation buttholes.
Echolocation buttholes.
Butthole locations. Good movie.
It was good.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Well done, Jim.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the Babadook of 2018.
No, I never saw Babadook.
Oh, well, it's also about metaphor monsters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's supposed to be what horror is about.
Yeah, but it's like explicitly
Okay.
about like metaphor monsters.
That's the whole point of horror.
Your
They're
own
supposed to be.
demons.
Okay.
Babadook was about depression. This was about communication.
All right. I like
Yeah,
that.
I liked it.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
This has been another episode of Movie Passels. I'm Saman.
I'm Romo.
And they
I
call
drink
me
your
Mr.
milkshake.
Tibbs. Wait. I
They
drink
call me
your
Mr.
milkshake.
Tibbs.
Yeah,
We'll fix it in post.